Good day and welcome to Coffee and Connections with the Chief and the Captain. I am Chief Stuart Chase, and with me this morning is Captain Mark Livy. It's early in January, folks, so Happy New Year to you all. And this time of year I kind of like to do a little bit of reflection on the past year. And 2023, at least from the police department standpoint, will be a year of several personnel changes. You'll note that Chief Dean Rondo retired after 30 years of dedicated service, and I came on at nearly midpoint in the year to assume an interim position, which will expire in May of this year. We recognize the need in this reporting period of in our regional and middle high schools for a second school resource officer, and Corporal Eric LaRochelle has fit that bill, and he's doing a tremendous job here in our middle school. We also note that on any given day there are more people on this campus than there are in some cities and towns in the state of New Hampshire. And more importantly than just having that physical presence here in the building, which is an essential role, but we find our school resource officers, Eric LaRochelle and Mary Gabrielli, they're serving as mentors, counselors, and they're building relationships with these young kids who often go through quite a bit of things when they're not here in our building. And we're grateful that they are serving in that capacity here at school. Officer Chris Dustin graduated from the Police Academy in June, and similarly, Frank McGee, Officer Frank McGee graduated in November, and he's now participating in our field training program. We sadly noted the passing of Police Commissioner Bob O'Brien, who served for decades in the state of New Hampshire as a police officer and an educator, and for many years in Wolfeboro as an elected official. And we welcomed Mr. Kevin Duffy to the Police Commission this fall to fill the gap left by Commissioner O'Brien's passing. Commissioner Duffy has served honorably in the United States Army and is a former lieutenant with the New Hampshire State Police. Moving on to page 2 here. In other notes from 2023, major construction began on the public safety building renovations, and if you're visiting us, please excuse our appearance and be careful in our driveways as heavy equipment is regularly coming and going. Seems like a lot of times it's in reverse.
Yeah.
So please be careful if you're coming to visit us. We have enrolled in the state's law enforcement accreditation program, wherein we will seek compliance with 114 standards that reflect best practices in several areas of law enforcement, and the crucial areas as well, which to include management, operations, investigations, records, and support services. These standards reflect what agency should be doing, but not how they have to do it. Ideally, we will be ready for on-site assessments around the same time our renovations are completed on the public safety building. We reviewed the seasonal 2-hour parking limits downtown this past summer, and the results are in on that. There's kind of some interesting points to mention this morning. There was a 257% increase in our enforcement efforts over 2022. And we'd like to say this resulted in better traffic flow and more available parking for residents and visitors. I know it's been frustrating sometimes to get stuck in a line of traffic, especially on peak weekends and holidays, but we're hoping that with the enforcement, the education and enforcement, that people have more availability to stop and visit and check out our shops and so forth. We plan to have a similar enforcement program next year. And one interesting note was the Mount Washington, the motor vessel Mount Washington reported a 20% increase in ridership because of the availability of Molly the trolley. And some of you folks may remember that you can pick up the trolley on the campus here at the high school or downtown by Linda's Flowers. There's a parking lot there by the Oddfellows Hall. So we're going to encourage everybody, even though it's early on. The ice isn't in yet, but soon enough it'll be out again, and we'll be looking at summertime, and we will ask people once again to please avail themselves of opportunities to park out of the way and to ride the trolley. So what's ahead for 2024? We hope to bring the department to full strength this year with the addition of one officer. There's an academy class beginning in February with a graduation date in May, I think, Captain.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah. We've nearly completed the 2024 budget reviews with the various committees and boards and await the upcoming town meeting. It's also a good time to mention some seasonal safety tips. And first off, good idea to keep your windshield clean and have sunglasses handy when driving. That seasonal solar glare is a real problem this time of year. If I was on Route 93 a month or so ago, and they have those signboards up giving a warning. Not that you need it, because it's hard to see the sign because the solar glare is so bad. And along the same lines, snow and ice, please, it must be removed from your vehicle before driving. It's commonly called Jessica's Law, and that law was enacted as a result of a young girl killed about 15 years ago when ice fell off of a vehicle and tragically took the young girl's life. That comes under RSA 265-79, and it was considered negligent driving. First offense for that is $310. So please be aware of your surroundings. Make sure your windows and your roof and the top of the vehicle is all clear of ice and snow. And we still see people driving down the street with a peephole through the windshield. Very, very dangerous, folks.
The limited amount of snow that we had this year, I actually saw that. So
wow.
Yeah, so take your time, start your car, get the ice off, and brush it off a little bit.
And if you're fortunate enough to drive a vehicle like I have, you just push a button on your phone. That's it for this.
I got a few.
I'm sorry, Captain.
I had a few little stuff that for this year. Well, for coming in January, we just want to recognize the Christmas Fund, and that it's over.
Glad you mentioned that.
Yeah, and Supervisor Mia Lyons runs that program, which takes a lot of time to get done. So her hard work and everything that this year got a lot of families help, and
I think there was some 80 families.
Yeah, I didn't know how many there were. Yeah. I think that you were right, about 80-something families. And we got every single bag out there, and with the help of officers and staff, it was well done this year.
Some of our athletes from the high school, I think, helped out too.
Yep.
And that's a really, really strong grassroots program. So if it's the end of the year and you're in a season of giving, please consider that next year, the Wolfeboro Children's Christmas Fund.
Yeah, great program,
yes.
Great run. As you mentioned, the building project, we meet every week on that, every Thursday morning. So we go over a lot of stuff on our weekly meetings regarding the building. I know we had meetings with the neighborhood back in December with the abutters. So it was good to get them in a meeting and their concerns, knowing that they're living right next to us. And this is a major project that we got going on right now. So if you go by the PD, like you said, be careful going in there, but take a peek at it. It's coming in there really nice with all the steel that's getting built in the back. So the back phase, which is phase 1, is really the bays for the fire department and their some rooms for their gears and all that good stuff. So that's their major area, is the phase 1, which is in the back there, and you'll see the bays. Give it probably maybe a month or so, and you'll start seeing the bays really start to form. But keep up on our Facebook page. We try to get it out there weekly or every couple weeks, the updates and what it looks like, what's going on. So just keep an eye on our Facebook page. That's a great resource for us to get things out there. So.
The bays are for fire apparatus.
Fire apparatus, yeah,
okay.
All fire. So I can't remember how many bays they got there going in there, but But keep an update. You'll see it on our Facebook page as it gets. Every week we try to get something out there on that.
So after phase 1, we have
phase 2.
What will happen then?
So phase 2 is going to be the existing bays, fire bays in our Sallyport, and so that's going to get knocked down and destroyed out there and then rebuilt. So that will be an interesting phase because that's going to be really close to us. And we'll start getting, not that it's loud now, but it's going to get really loud.
Is there
So they're looking at timeline end of March, April, starting phase 2. So phase 1 should be done near the end of March and April. Phase 2 starting up right after that.
Is there a phase 3?
And a phase 3. So the existing building that you see every day when you go by, that's going to look the same, but they're going to gut the inside of that and rehab. Basically, the roof I think is going to come down, and the insides, but the outside will look the same. So it'll match everything that's going on right now, and it's going to come out really nice.
So they're going to reconfigure the interior and add on as well?
Yeah, correct. So what's going to be nice in this building, as we don't have it right now, we don't even have locker rooms for our staffs, which is going to be really nice so they can have a place to put their stuff. I mean, the gears, uniforms. There's going to be a training room, an EOC room, community room, which is something we haven't had before. So we can get a lot of training there, and we can actually have these organizations come in and use our facility, but we can get free training out of this. So using our facility for training and a resource for this Carroll County, this area, will be great because we don't have a lot of PDs that have the resources to hold up these ones, other than I think Conway can do it, but in Molten Borough.
So this could be used for community meetings or events as well?
Yep, for the town. Yeah, anyone can use it. They just got to reserve it. We just got to figure out how that's going to all work when we get closer to the seasons, and when it's all done, probably in 2025, when everything is completed. So we'll get something out there on our web page and Facebook on how to use it for the town, to reserve it. It's probably going to be very similar to how the library, how everyone uses the library, community rooms, stuff like that. So.
And we want to thank our neighbors at the library for their understanding and cooperation during all this. We've, not we personally, but the back parking lot has been kind of commandeered by the construction staff, and the need for storage of different things, and that steel work is pretty impressive, and it's kind of fun to look out the window now and then and see how those guys put that stuff together.
Yeah, it's amazing work to do, especially
in January.
In this cold, so it's rough.
Yeah.
So that's going on. As you mentioned, the staff we're full staff on both dispatch and police, so which is good. We got one going to the academy next month, planning on for that. So as you know, we have one in the field training right now, Officer McGee, so we're hoping he'll be done sometime in February, knowing he graduated in November. We've mentioned this a long time before, that it takes a while to get that officer into the academy, out of the academy, into field training, and then on his own or her own.
So it could take...
It's usually 24, 28 weeks. Around
more
that.
than half a year.
Yeah, so it takes a long time to get that individual out after all the training and education that we got to get them through to get the certification of police. So dispatch is doing well. We got this year we got a new addition with Carrie Kane. That's right.
Yeah.
So it was a permanent part-timer. She's doing great. She's on her own. She finished the field training sometime in early December, I think it was. Yeah, so she's out and about. I mean, out and about, but in dispatch.
Yeah.
You'll hear it.
Out and about in dispatch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
you'll hear that voice if you happen to monitor us.
Yes, so that's good. So everything's going there. Our animal control, Heather Caligandes, is doing well in her position. I know a lot of people go directly to her through dispatch and communicate with her. She's doing an excellent job in that. So there's been great additions to our department this year. So
all in the interest of public service.
Yeah. So for next year, as you know, the highway safety grants, we were approved for those. We did have a few of them in December. The DUI grants. We had a couple shifts go out there. They really start acting up sometime in May with the click it a ticket, which you'll see officers usually in the school area. We'll get that out more likely on our Facebook so nobody gets nervous to see a bunch of cruisers sitting up there. But we're really educating and checking for seat belts, which the children under 18 should be really using for that, especially in the motor vehicle. It can save lives.
And what does DUI stand for?
Driving under the influence.
Okay.
So it's really the intoxication while you're operating a motor vehicle. So that can be with alcohol or drugs. So so we got that DUI. We have the speed grants. We have distractive driving, which I emphasize a lot in this, is using your cell phone. So when you're operating a vehicle and we see you and you're driving and you're looking down like this, that's a clue that you could be looking at a phone, more than likely, because you're not focused on the road. You're focused on something down and you're trying to hide that cell phone. So, but looking down takes you off the road. Remember that. And something can happen, cross over
In a nanosecond.
yeah, and it just can be just dangerous. So keep your eyes on the road, hold that phone down, wait till you stop or pull over and get into a safe spot and answer the phone, answer a text, and then proceed from there. So then we got the pedestrian crosswalk, which gets additional, which he mentioned down at the downtown area, the Bridge Falls Path. We usually can do walking, we can do biking. It's just additional patrols to get down to the downtown area to get visibility down there for parking issues, violations, town ordinance. We're focusing on those. And this year we should, with the full staff that we're looking at right now, we should have 2 bikes down there, maybe some days 2 bikes, but 7 days a week. That's the plan, to get a mountain bike down there.
And that was a nice adjunct to our patrol operations last summer with Josh Peasley, who's out there,
Yep.
Eric Larochelle, and a couple felony pinches on the trail, even though that's not our primary focus there.
Yeah.
But it's something that comes when you stop and check people out.
Correct. And we got the addition of another bike this year from donations from the, God, I can't think of the name.
Well, Eddie, we'll have to work on this part of it.
Yeah, that one I don't have. I should have wrote that down. But
Burnt from Burnt Timber.
yeah, Burnt Timber, Chris Dow from the bike.
Yep.
So the
Crossways,
trails,
pathways, something like that.
So we thank them for that.
We'll have to
We
edit
thank 'em
this.
all- Yeah,
Yeah.
we thank them for that. All of them for helping us get us an extra bike, for Officer Peasley, who now, because he's a big guy, so
You cast a pretty big shadow.
yeah. So, and we've got the electric bike still that we have in use. I know Eric Larochelle uses that, Corporal. Mary Gabrielli uses that, and Chris Dustin will be in addition to the bike patrol this year. So, looking forward to that. So, other than that, I don't have too much else to talk about, other than the snow looks like January we're going to finally get some. So be careful out there driving. When you see the snow out there, take your time, give yourself some extra time out there.
And one other thing on the bike trails, I know there's talk about additional crosswalks
Yeah.
somewhere, River Street. Help me out here, Mark.
So you got River Street, you got Hershey Way,
Neck.
the Neck,
The Neck.
I think if you keep on going down
Yeah. Any
Bryan
of-
Road,
Yeah.
I think there's one there.
Yeah, I know there's consideration for that, so there's concern about people, bicyclists, although if you're a bicyclist, you're not a pedestrian, and the crosswalk doesn't really apply, but if you're a motorist, and you see that additional marking there on the surface, if there is one, then you'll have the opportunity to note that someone may be coming your way, so
Yeah.
just another way to slow people down a little bit. And I think pretty much that's it. I am the eternal optimist, and I look forward to 2024 and beyond with great delight, and we continue to love to provide service to the town of Wolfeboro and our visitors and our guests in this beautiful chunk of the world. So thank you very much. Hey, good day. This is Wolfeboro Police Chief Stu Chase. I'm here with the seasonal safety tips of the month, and it's January. So we think about the changes in the sunrise for one thing, and particularly if you're heading east early in the morning, you will note solar glare is a real concern. So make sure your windshield is clear, and that's on the inside and out, and it's really a good idea to have some quality sunglasses with you, and of course use your visors. On a similar note, there is a law out there called Jessica's Law, and that refers to the removal of snow and ice from the vehicle before you operate it. About 15 years ago, a young girl was tragically killed when she was struck by flying ice and snow from a moving vehicle. That statute that covers that is under 265, and it's referenced under negligent driving. $310 for the first offense. So please, for your own safety and for the safety of others, make sure your windshields are clear, the roof is clear, and the vehicle is clear of any snow or ice. And that goes along with driving with just a peephole through the windshield. It seems unusual, and we would never ever consider driving with our eyes closed, but essentially, if you've got a windshield that isn't clear, that's what you're doing. Take the extra few minutes, or start a little bit earlier, make sure your vehicle is clear and clean before you operate it. Thank you, and stay safe out there.